Call the meeting of the Virginia County Board of Education to order. Members, you've got a copy of the agenda. You'll receive it. Are there any changes? Hearing none, then I need a motion. We approve the agenda as presented. Motion by Brenda, second by Sparky, all in favor. It is approved. Before we stand to do the pledge of inspiration, as Sparky is going to lead us, I would ask that he, in the prayer, would remember Conrad and Pam. Pam's father passed away this morning unexpectedly, so we do want to remember them in our thoughts and prayers. So if you would please stand and
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That's right. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this day. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to gather here and make decisions for our students, our teachers, our community. Lord, we pray that you would just give us the wisdom and the heart to do your will, make decisions that you would be pleased with. And Lord, we pray that you would continue to keep our teachers, our staff, everyone safe from this COVID-19. Lord, we pray for those that are sick. We pray for those that have had death in the family. Lord, one that's close to us today, Wayne Graves. Lord, we pray for his daughter and son-in-law. We pray for his entire family, that you would bring them peace. We thank you for all you do. We thank you for all the many blessings. Go with us, watch over us. In Jesus' name, amen.
next up is the consent items. You have a copy of the minutes for October the 5th, October the 7th, and October the 18th. Are there any changes on those? All right, hearing none, then the next item is the superintendent's report.
Okay, under operational effectiveness, the first item we have is a surplus list for school nutrition. You have some items there, and I talked to Mr. Shoemaker. Really, we probably could get a vote on two items tonight under operational effectiveness. Is a surplus list so that if you're in agreement with it, Amanda can put that out there on Doug Fields, go ahead and get these items surplus, and then we'll, as the next item, we'll talk about the trash. Does anybody have any questions about the school nutrition surplus list of items that you have there? If you have any, Ms. Ruby will be glad to answer those questions for you. She's sitting right there on the floor. These are already out of service and
No, but we have new stuff ordered coming in to replace them.
okay. This is the one we get.
Hopefully this is stuff y'all can approve, but even as far back as in June, we've just been waiting. I've got a man begging fight from North Carolina.
What's wrong with them it's much better than the one you're fixing to order. Refrigerators.
We just don't use the mixers anymore.
Right.
All right, any further questions on that? Does anybody have a problem with voting on it tonight? All right, hearing none, I need a motion we approve the school nutrition surplus list as presented. Motion by Aaron, second by Sparky, all in favor? That was Heath, not Aaron first.
All right, the next we have is the Monroe County High School track. We have Chris is back there and Mike. Y'all come up and talk about what we have on the track. We're seeking the guns to walk over there. We need to guarantee, guarantee maximum price. Chris can go over that. We have a copy of the items that Little Brothers has gotten bids on thus far. There will be more to come, but anyway, Chris, you know.
So, Little Brothers Venture, Little Brothers has not gotten every part and piece worked out on the track bid, mainly because he hasn't got pricing on certain aspects of it. But the ones that he has, mainly the grading part of it, is $673,932. And this GMP, it would of course change as the pricing came in to Little Brothers. So it's going to change a little bit as time goes on. Hopefully by the next one we'll have all the numbers in. But it's been a struggle trying to get every part and piece that's lined up and get prices for it and get it out. So basically what this will do is kind of let us keep rolling on the work that's being done. I know like some of the piping from the storm piping is several weeks out, 3 or 4 weeks out. So we need luck. By the time that comes in, everything will be prepped and ready to be put in, and it will kind of be a seamless project. And then, like I said, hopefully by the next board meeting, all of the numbers will come in, and we can simplify this down to, one GMP.
Not to hold you to any kind of certain number, but the items that are left to be priced, what kind of ballpark? What, just guess? I mean, that's what I know, it's just total guess.
Well, they're not coming in more than 2.1, I think, what we're shooting for. But that's, is it a little bit up in the air? Well, maybe. But there's also a thought that I've heard too, that it might sneak in a little under. So the way pricing is in this day and time, it is a crapshoot at best when it comes to a lot of that stuff. But we're actually hoping it will come in, hopefully a quick under that. And like you said, we're not holding it. That's what we're hoping.
Well, there's lots of people out there that will actually tell us, we'll give you a quote today, that quote may not be good, then we can get our hands on the material. It may change.
14 days at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like the ones like sand or salt, there's all of these 4 people, but nobody's been in.
Those prices haven't been submitted to say yet.
Okay, so it's not time yet?
Well, we just think it's gotten the numbers.
Get the numbers.
Got it, okay. Yeah.
We're hoping we'll be in by the December meeting, and we can get some better figures too.
One thing is, is getting into the period of time where work days are sometimes limited, hard to come by, so. And we still have to keep the process and moving forward.
Once we get past, any time this month, the weather will turn on you and, get done out. So the more that we can get done now, the better off we're going to be. Any questions?
Thank you. All right, I need a motion that, first we need to waive the policy to revote so I need a motion to waive the building policy. Kelly? All in favor? Next, I need a motion that we approve the initial GMP of $673,932.10 for the Murray County tract. Motion by Sparky, second by Heath, all in favor? It is approved.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is fiscal accountability, and Dr. Smith is at the YESBO conference for finance directors and finance personnel in Augusta, Georgia, so I'll do my best to try to fill in for her. I hope I'm not too rusty, and I know that everyone is here tonight to hear me go over the finances, and I appreciate everybody being here. Bring it on. So we heard that I was coming out of retirement for finance, so just be but anyway, you look at your SPLOST report, the first thing you have is you'll know in October, it was a record-setting month, $604,688.87. And I've, been with these finance reports that I've done over the years and seen them, that is the first time in ever that we have crossed over $600,000. We have done 500,000 a couple of times, and you can see back through there, you've got a pretty good history back to when this current SPOS began in 2017, and there's two or three times that we got over 500, but never ever have we gotten over 600,000. So that's the first time. There's a lot of reasons probably behind that, some that we don't know, but a couple have to do with the taxes being paid on online purchases beginning in April of 2020. That was passed by the Georgia legislature. We pay taxes based on the zip code, which is very good for somewhere like Roy County that doesn't have much of a retail base. So that, and in addition to the use tax on natural gas at the overflow power, because it was in August when those things were earned, and with the excess capacity that when they sell the power, that always helps us. So those were two things, but anyway, 604,000, that's great. And this cost, of course, will end. The last collection that we'll have will be that we'll receive will be in July, which will be for June, and then the new SPOS that the governor's approved will begin in July, and those first collections that we'll receive, and the new SPOS will be in August. So, does anyone have any questions about the SPOS report?
And there's no way we can go over that.
Well, we're going to.
I mean, I know we're gonna go over it, I'm just asking, like, since they changed the laws, I mean, like, there's no cushion.
No, but the way, I did check in, because I know that the voters, when you have a SPOS referendum, the voters approve a maximum amount to be collected. And this maximum amount to be collected is down there, $24 million. That's maximum amount authorized. And the way it works is I was a little bit off, but I checked today, yesterday, and when you go over, it's not, I thought, used to think it was the month you went over, but it is not, because of the way communication would have to go to all the vendors. It's the ending of the quarter. So you have to go, once you exceed the maximum amount authorized, the sales tax remains the same till the end of that quarter. So if you go over your amount authorized, let's say in May, then the sales tax still remains in effect until the end of the quarter, which would be the end of June. But then the new one starts in July. So I think, one thing, of course, we hadn't anticipated in 2017 that online sales would be taxable. That's just, but I think, we will not, certainly we could exceed the maximum, but it won't be, but the quarter will run out before we hit the maximum. So that makes sense.
So you're really going to collect more.
If we collect the same amount as we collected the previous, if you look at the remaining months collected beginning in November, if we collect the same amount from November through July that we collected last November through July, we will probably exceed the 24 million, but probably not until that last quarter that we have. So it should be fine. Okay. So this one. And then we'll start the new one in July, the first collection that we'll get for that. Any other questions? That's a good question. If not, if you look at your financial statement, you can see that total assets, this is for the period ending September 2021 compared to September 2020. Total assets in the general fund is 18.3 million versus 16.8 million. And the fund equity as of September the 30th 2021's $11,033,000. You can look there, on the next page, the total revenues. The total revenues of 12.2 million versus 11 million from last year. Primarily is due to the local property, greater collection of local property taxes, and this year that we're in now as compared to last year, we don't have as large of an austerity cut from the state QB collection. So those are the two primary reasons. Total expenses, you're at, you're basically at a third of the year, for 3 months. I'm sorry, a fourth of the year at 3 months. Total expenses is 14.7 million. Last year was 14.8. The biggest thing to look at there is we're a fourth of the year through school. In September, we spent 24% of the budget. This is a little higher than last year, it's 23, but it's still under year-to-date expenses. And anytime you can be under for the first 3 months, that's usually a pretty good sign, because all your main expenses that you pay is pretty well front-loaded. So you're going to pay a lot of things in August and September for the year, and so if you can be under in 3 months, then that's pretty good. Track. Pretty good indicator that you're going to be pretty good for the year unless something unforeseen happens. Anybody have any questions? All right. You also see back there on the next behind that, you see the balance remaining in CARES 3, balance remaining in CARES 2, and in CARES 1. Total CARES funding that we have received, thus far are not received, but are entitled to is $21,171,782. And then the other page there, you can see the investment balance of the excess cash at the Georgia One Fund. The balance on hand in October is $4 million, and we received $2,200 of interest. It's not a lot of interest, but it's very nice. Any questions? Okay, there's some purchase orders there that you see from teaching one on the Wild Hill. Had one for $61,000, and
They're in the hall, Barbie.
Barbie and Spencer. The purchase order for the Wild Hill for $61,000.
Yes, sir. That finishes out our intervention curriculum. When we bought the first round, we were anticipating how many students we would be serving about 920, but that was not anticipating the need for the next round. So when they finish one program, they'll move into the next. So this really finishes out our year in those programs, and then anything we don't use, of course, will be used in the next year. So we're just finishing out those services for the year. We asked all the principals, the coaches, to give us the numbers and what we would actually need to finish out. And of course, we're facing the same sort of backlog and back order material. So we knew most of our folks will start in January, but we knew if we didn't get it on potentially those materials will be back ordered. So that's why I have to do it.
Are these materials reusable or are they consumable?
The teacher manuals, Brenda, are reusable.
Okay.
The student
teacher
books,
manuals,
it's a combination of them. The student books are meant to be consumed, but they are at a very low cost. So the biggest bulk of the cost is in the teacher materials, and once we have those, we don't have to purchase again. So I think the student books are very, very useful.
The other items you have there is we talked about when we were going over our budget about the need. We have in our budget including some vans, purchase for maintenance, and Chris, you and Mike, we've got the Chancellor Ford and so got our plans for $149,650 for vans. I don't have his numbers in front of me.
But I've actually contacted 6 different vendors. I think 4 of them were February this year, just that's what we got last year at. And basically the plant that, what I was told by 2 different ones, and one was actually a fleet dealership, was that the plant where they're making them, they closed it down, I guess because of COVID, I don't really know, to be honest with you. Basically, I was out looking for showcase, and the ones that we bought, we really liked them, I would love to have some more. But Jackie Jones Dodge contacted them with no really response from them at all. And Terry Kill, that report, was the one that gave us the price. Pretty amazing the time it was, but that's who gave me the one and only price that we had. The Ware Chevrolet, before we bought the other ones, he told me, he said, try $40. He said, I can't get it.
And included in that, as you can see the detail, there's 3 maintenance vans, one technology van, and 1 food service van.
5 minutes.
Yeah, the nutrition van is different. Amanda had talked with us and asked us about giving her a transport van to help carry food when freezers go down or to do summer lunches with and stuff like that. She's never had that. So there was, let me back up and kind of explain. The 3 maintenance vans came out of a discussion last spring when we were setting the budget. And Chris was trying to still continue to build that fleet up because those vehicles that we have are worn out. And I talked with him, his is going out doing work on both departments. But he asked for 3 vans to be put in that budget. We built the budget around that. Y'all voted on it, approved it. That's where those 3 vans are coming from. The van for Israel and the van for Amanda and the other PO that's going to come for Yancey are coming out of a budget that is different than that. It was built in the transportation budget, and it was actually for a bond bus that Kathy thought we were going to get this year. We didn't get a bond bus because they gave us 4 and an addendum to the 2 that we got last year, so we ended up getting 6 last year. And the DOE just said, well, we're not sending any more money this year. So we already had the money in an account, so we're pulling those 2 vans out of that. Chris was already built into the budget, but we're using some of that other stuff for those. And I'll talk about the activity bus as well.
And the technology van came and then because it was getting all these Chromebooks. You know, all the TVs and those many interactive TVs that you're getting, we don't have a good way other than have to pick up truck or whatever I need to, or the existence one small station wagon that exists, which is an interactive TV wouldn't fit it. Getting those to the schools, where there's no way to transport them. So it's a lot of high dollar equipment that we need a little better way to move stuff around.
And all these ones we're talking about are 20 years old or older. It's not like they're built to be too big, they're old.
Then, while we are here, the Yancey bus sales, as you see, that PO for $116,000. That is something we did have in the budget. We talked about that at budget time. Is for 2 activity buses, and we talked about that at our leadership meeting with all the principals. And I think many of them will want to stand up and cheer because it will help. It's an activity bus, I guess. It's not as big as a school bus. You don't have to have a CDL to drive it, but it's something that we really need for carrying people to various things when you have a small group, such as the cheerleaders, or a volleyball team, or a tennis team, or a golf team,
Or CTA.
or a CTA group, to go to these various events that. Because, we struggle having to get enough bus drivers to carry various teams or wherever we go to competition events. So by having an activity bus, it will help increase the pool of people that we can drive on to get kids to various events. And so it's something that we do need, and so we have it in our budget. So So, what they hold is it
14 passengers, yeah, and last spring, let's go back to last spring again, because what we were doing was legislation put in that we could purchase 8-passenger vans. That's where this started at. Well, the 8-passenger vans went through the legislative process, it got approved, but when the DOE got done with it, they limited the 8-passenger vans to ESS transport or McKinney-Vento. They cut it off and said nobody else can use those vans. So it didn't help us for the activity part of it. So that's why what we had built into the budget was to buy 3 of those 8-passenger vans. We've gotten quotes for it. We knew what it was going to cost. Kathy built that into the budget again, just like we did with the maintenance vans. And then we used the bond bus money on top, and that's how we ended up getting 2 vans and the 2 activity buses. Because those 2 activity buses took the place of those 3 8-passenger vans we were going to plan on.
Okay, so is it like first come, first served?
They will check them out through transportation, and what our process, what we want to do, and it won't always work out that way, is we're going to have one for the north end, one for the south end. It may be that the north end's not going somewhere, and the south end has a CTA group and a athletic event. They may use them both that day if they're not used. But we're going to try to keep it for one for the north, one for the south, so that they all have the ability to do that. Yeah, and you know, if it's successful and it works real well, then we may look at adding another couple so that we can get more teams involved and stuff like that, more groups can travel in those smaller vehicles. And we're actually making the plan right now, in my staff right now, is what the local training will be for those drivers. I can't just go grab a teacher out of the classroom and say, oh, by the way, you're going to drive over to Dalton today. They're going to still have to have local transportation training. They just don't have to have a CDL permit, okay? But they will be trained as well. Any more questions? Okay.
The other line is nutrition, CDLA design,
Testing period about that.
yeah,
What is the interior design for?
That will provide us with signs, protecting.
Should you tell us when those are ready, like the little
Christmas break.
just land and.
So far, it's live and checked.
Those are for the
Yes, they'll be great. Should be Christmas break. Christmas break is when they're planning on installing them, yeah. Oh,
And then the other one, that we got, we sent over there today, I'm looking to it, is from, Studio, Horizon Software.
yes. That's just our normal computer maintenance and subscription, but we're also converting to the cloud, so there's some extra expenses on there. It's only not that much, but it's in our budget. We're getting rid of the server.
Any other questions?
And Blake split it. Blake split it.
The other thing we have, do you have any questions about purchase orders? We have just a quick update about our professional learning day, which is coming up on Friday. Thursday, that's right. That's next Thursday, that's right. I'm sorry, I'm on. Today is Thursday. Professional learning, that's what we're going to be doing, right quickly on the Veterans Day.
We're just going to give you a quick update from teaching and learning on some actions we're taking to meet our goals of supporting the implementation of the new math curriculum as well as the new intervention program. And in October, we really focused on the corrective intervention program. And I was going to share some numbers with you. Kelly, Barbie, and myself were able to visit 23 corrective math classrooms, 21 corrective reading classrooms. We had 22 debriefs with the administrators. We also were able to be into 22 math classrooms and several other odds and ends classroom science, social studies, alternative schools, EIR. So we just wanted to give y'all a report on what we're doing this past month.
We also were able to provide for the teachers during their training. We didn't pull them out, we didn't have ourselves, so we offered training in our math curriculum with our diagnostic assessment for all of our kindergarten through 8th grade teachers, and our high school teachers as well. We spent about 6 days just training, and Jennifer Felton coming in. So each of our principals and teachers have had an update there. We also observed all of our corrective classrooms with our consultant, Mary, and she provided feedback for all of us along with our administrators. And then for November the 11th, we are also offering another math training for all of our teachers. It'll be 2-hour sessions. Kindergarten through 8th grade teachers will be training. And our corrective interventionists will also be training for 3-hour sessions with our consultant and myself leading that. And then Mr. Gasly is doing a perfection learning conference during that time as well. So that's just a quick update of what's coming up next week from our campus. Yes, ma'am.
November 8th, math training, K through 8, all in one classroom, or you by grade level?
November 11th.
I'm sorry, November 11th, but it's K-8.
It's for K-8, but they're coming in teams. So kindergarten, yes, ma'am, kindergarten north and kindergarten south end, first grade north and first grade south end, and then in our grade level 2, we might be 1 or 2 teachers, they'll be 3rd and 4th together, 5th and 6th together, and 7th and 8th across the district. So we're trying to keep them to around 25 participants in each group. There are 3 trainers. Any other questions for teaching and learning? All right, thank you.
Need to have one field trip, North Motor Brand. On the new corner that's on North Motor Brand, is going to, Eastern Kentucky, or on, will be November the 19th through November the 20th. Any questions on that? Okay, moving right along, the next item we have on our agenda is, public participation. I believe we have some public participation.
You got a question?
Well, I thought, the way you said, I thought you meant up on where North Murray Brand was going. But this just is number of students, 18, so it's just part of the band going? Is that?
That is correct. There are only 18 students going for this particular competition. It is probably a section of the band that's going, maybe it's just the drums or, something like the percussion or something like that.
I thought it was the whole thing. I thought, well, what on that?
Yes,
Okay.
so no.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? All right, before Risha calls up, who signed up tonight, I want to make a quick statement. While the Board of Education welcomes public comments, participation, specific complaints about individual employees are not proper subjects for Board of Education review or action and should be addressed instead to the superintendent or the employee supervisor. Speakers are cautioned that comments which they publicly make against individually named employees could give rise to liability against the speaker if the comments are slanderous or defamatory. Speakers will be given 3 to 5 minutes, and Ms. Lynn will keep the time to speak before the board, with the time being held by Ms. Lynn. Depending on the number of speakers and topics listed, if a group of individuals wishes to address the board on a common issue, those individuals should select one person to be their spokesperson. I believe they have. The spokesperson should identify the group and then address the board as the representative of the group. So with that being said.
The first one is Mr. Joel Corn.
Okay, I am Joel Corn, and I am representing a group of concerned parents that are sitting here in front of you. These parents go from, they have kids in middle school to seniors, and all in the Murray County High School system. And what we're here to address is the lack, we feel, of leadership and support from inside the administration and also on the extracurricular activities, mainly being the football program, per se. I've got some, a few things here that you can, look at if you want to. It's just kind of notes of what we wanted to talk about tonight. And, so as concerned parents, we feel that we're in a tough juncture at Murray County High School, in general and in the football program, also. We feel it's hard right now to create a positive buzz. I mean, you would be almost blind or deaf to not hear what goes on or said in the community about that particular school and or football team program. And you also know that Murray County High School at one time had a phenomenal sports program, whether it was good football teams in the 70s, 80s, 90s, basketball, wrestling. It has a long history of being a very competitive team. But unfortunately, in the last 20 years, it's kind of become no longer respected, or maybe like all kind of joke actually inside the community. So, and during that 20-year span, there's been several coaching changes and personnel changes. And for a majority of that time, there have been a few short stints by various coaches, I'm sure you'll know. But for the past 9 years, though, we've kind of kept the same staff that we had, or program style that we have, and trying to expect the same results. And any one of us who work, or we're all judged in metrics, by our employers or whatever that may be. And the same we feel goes for, being a football program, sports program. And if you look, there's a few stats right there. Over the last 9 seasons, the team is 25-65, 25 wins and 65 losses. And that equates to about a 385 winning percentage. So that would be like me and my business saying, I'm going to sell you something that's only going to work a third of the time, maybe a little more. So only one winning season, 9 seasons. And the total points scored in those 9 seasons has been 1,540. And that's a measure of how effective the offense is in scheme, scoring and plays being called. It averages to 17 points a game over the 9 seasons divided by 10 games per season. Same with the total points allowed. Is how well the defense is being executed and coached up. And those 9 seasons have been 3,210 points scored against Murray County High School Indians, and that equates to allowing the team to score an average of 35.66 points throughout, the 9 seasons and 10 games per season. So, and we feel that those results over 9 years would be a cause for alarm from administration or whoever may be in charge of that particular program. And we say like administration, athletic director, coaching staff, and we feel that these results have weakened the morale of the children, and that's the whole reason that we're here to support the kids and the players that are inside the community. All right, we're all here. We all have children that are involved in that. We feel that is the reason for low turnout, low retention, players moving across town, and also that decreases funding. I mean, for not only the football team, low turnout out here is going to decrease funding for the school, the football team, the band. Everyone benefits from that, and not knowing Murray County High School's particular data, but average data for most schools in their varsity athletic programs, that 70% of all varsity athletic programs across the United States are funded strictly by football sales, ticket sales, and that could be baseball, softball, whatever the sport may be. So, and we're concerned for our children's ability to be able to participate in those extracurricular activities that support the school and the community, and having the responsibility and freedom to do so. We feel there's been some actions and some lack of leadership or lack of coaching all across the whole entire staff that has led to some of these results, at least in this year that we've seen in our eyes and in previous years we've seen. Other members of our group here, and like I say, this is a general list of items that we've taken from the group, representing them here. So if there's one instance in specific that you want to speak of, if I can answer it, I will. If not, if someone else can answer, the group would be happy to. But other members of the group have talked to the coach, principal, superintendent, and written letters to the Board of Education about concerns for the program. and not really much results. And we fully understand that, that is a hard job, okay? You're under constant, it's happening very quick, very fast on the field. And with all that going on, sometimes we get so focused that we may miss certain things that are right in front of our face, and which that would be accountability. I mean, we feel that there is accountability lack from the coaching staff all the way around. And of course, hey, look, players are held accountable. And
That's your 5 minutes, so it's up to the chairman if you can continue.
I can summarize it very quick, if you would allow me to continue. Another minute, got it. But we feel there's an accountability issue, and you can go into greater detail inside the things that you see, but we feel that there's we're not holding, and it's from the top down. Whoever's in charge of the football coach, who the athletic director, are we holding them accountable for a set standard? Are we creating a culture that's going to allow kids to want to be able to succeed and participate in the sports? And those sports are, you think, any member of this group or parents are always going to say academics come first, regardless, over any kind of extracurricular stuff. But those sports, they do teach teamwork, how to work with other people in difficult situations, no matter where you come from, what you look like, what you speak, where you're born, whatever. What color you are, you put the uniform on, you're all the same. We're all representing the school, we're all representing each other, and we're representing the community. So we feel that that's an issue that needs to be looked at, and we're asking for the board's help in whatever way that may be. Now, we also said that we're dedicated to helping in that as concerned parents. I mean, there are parents that have we have concern for our kids. We can help in any way we want, or we would like to, I would say. So we're asking that whatever that we can do to present that to the board, that and the administration, that hey, look, the program, the numbers are what they are. The results are, it is what it is. What can we do to right the ship on this with our help, your help, the school's help, the coaches' are help? We want the children to be able to participate, want them to want to participate, but whatever and that may be, we don't really know yet. But we're asking for y'all's consideration and help in this matter. So. There's plenty more in there. I've just run out. So, unless you allow me to go longer, but.
No, I think we've got it.
Okay.
So you did say you had talked to Miss Lander, Coach Brewer?
Parents, I mean,
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm just.
Yeah, and you would probably say, hey,
I read letters
you need some.
Education. I'll go ahead and apologize for reading maybe what I didn't receive.
Okay.
I didn't either.
Okay.
That's why I'm asking, it's in here that the letters have been written to DOE.
I would just like to say, Mr. Jones, that I have not had a meeting individually with any of these parents regarding concerns with our football program.
Okay.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
She's never there.
We just want to address the issue. It's in front of everyone's face. You'd be blind to ignore it, I think. So that's our feeling within the time limit that I have. Feel free, if you have more questions, please ask me or anyone here. We'll be more than happy to try to explain those in greater detail. So thank you for your time, and like I say, if you have any questions, please. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, our next one is Mr. Hargrove or Dr. Hargrove.
First of all, I want to say thank you for allowing me to be here to speak, and I want to say that I respect the voices of all these people, because I love these people for what they've done and their kids, and I know them all. So, but I will have to disagree on a lot of things, okay? So I hope I don't lose your friendships for that. If I do, God's going to take care of me anyway. Amen? So, what I wanted to say was that, like most of you know me, and you know how dedicated and how much I love the program here at the Indian Nation. I know you do that. But I support them, and I'll always support them, even on my way out of this earth. But I love supporting the other schools in this county too, which I do, in different ways. I love every kid in this county. I always have and I always will. That's been my main goal, and I've been here 50-some years, and I think I know a little bit about every place. Yeah. And I'll just tell you, I sat still a few years ago, didn't say a word, when we run off one of the best men in this county, one of my best friends. Nobody said a dang word, but I will. When Bill Napier left here, I felt like we made the biggest mistake we ever did. And it's two, we didn't score a lot of points. We were getting our butts beat like 5A schools, and that's continued. That started part of our downfall. But we also run off another coach too that was an awesome coach. And this time I said, well, if that's what our plan is, we'll get rid of our coaching staff. I want to let my staff be known. And I'd be sad to see a man of much honor and integrity like this man to go. He and his staff are a total class act. I know that because I'm around them, and these guys here watching practice also. I watch them practice down on the field with them sometimes, but I'm always sitting in front of my back. And I watch it, and I see what happens, and I've been in the boardrooms over there where they talk about other teams that are playing. They have great game plans, but you know, sometimes you don't have athletes put in those plans. Because when I evaluate, and I do evaluate every game, and I evaluate the players that we have, we've got awesome kids on that football team. They got hearts this big. They certainly do. But when I look at it, when you break it down into individuals, athletes, we have very few what I call great athletes, but we have awesome kids. I want to say that. And I think that our coaches have taught our kids how to live now and how to live in the future. That's my opinion. I witnessed that. I have never had a discouraging word from any of our coaches towards anybody. It's always been a positive, upbeat thing. And I like that. That's the way I like it. We have godly coaches. If you know our coaches, you'll find out that's what they are. And they know God has a plan for them and for this program. And they have faith in that plan. And they carry it out every single day. And that's because they believe in the players. They love our kids. And as I said before, I think when I look back on what I have witnessed, not on the field as much, well, I have, but there too, but in that field house, they treat those kids just like Jesus would. That is my concern. Our kids are important, and I don't care when we talk about wins and losses. I've never had to experience those losses when I coached here. But I witnessed a lot of other coaches having going downhill, you know. But I know this much. I have never, if you've been to one of our games, you have never seen our kids quit. I have never seen them quit when they're getting their butts kicked everywhere. They're always out there fighting and trying to leave everything on the field. That's all I could ever ask for as a fan and as somebody that loves this program. So the decision's going to be yours and everything like that. But, and again too, I love you guys. But I love this team. I've done a lot of things for this team. But I just want you to know that regardless of what happens, I'll still support the team, but I hate to lose good people. And we've got inexperienced coaches at certain levels. I know that. That's what I think about it. And but when you got 155 pounds, 60 pounds, he beats the men out there and he's been blocking a 245 pounder or 235 pounder. Who's going to win that race? I know who's going to win. And that hole's going to open up, somebody's going to go through. But they still leave their heart on the field. And I appreciate it. And I thank you for allowing me to say this. Now I feel better. Okay, thank you.
I didn't ask, did anybody have any questions for the football program?
If you do, I'll be glad to answer.
I've got a question for Ms.
Okay.
Linder, if that's okay.
Sure.
Ms. Linder, I know you said you hadn't talked to any parents. Have you had any conversation with anyone, from the central office or any other faculty telling you about problems or concerns with the football program?
I have not. I've not had a message request from anyone asking to meet. The assistant principal, who is over athletics at Murray High, I'm not aware if he has gotten a message to ask to set up a meeting. I've had one parent approach me after a ball game, voicing some concerns, but other than that, no. Actually, what I've heard, I'm just speaking freely here and honestly, what I have heard are from the parents on the opposite side of the group that is here tonight, who are very concerned about what's happening, wanting me to know that there is support out there for my coaching staff. Those are the ones I am hearing from. They're just not going to come to a meeting like this and speak out. But those really, they are the only ones that I've heard things from, and people like Dr. Harper.
Right, I need a motion that we go into executive session.
Can I speak? I'm on the list. I'm part of the group, but I would like to address some issues that was covered, but not fully, and some things that was said afterwards, if that's okay. I just take just a moment.
That would be up to the board since you didn't sign.
He's on the case.
Oh, he's on the table. Can you do it in a minute?
I'll do my best, yes, sir.
Hey, Mr. Chairman, if he's allowed to speak, should he not receive the same 3 to 5?
There you go.
Yeah.
As long as it's different than what we've already heard.
Yeah.
Well, I'll make this very quick. I'm Philip Carter. I have a son that's in the high school now, and I've got 2 actually, and I've got 1 in the middle school. The people from the north end of the county, of course, they don't have a problem with our coaching staff because they beat our coaching staff every year that they have been here. Nobody has a problem with winning. I understand that folks love our coaches because they are good guys. Being a good guy is not what's at stake. What's at stake is coaching a football team. If you are signed up to coach a football team, you are to lead that football team successfully. I don't feel that us as parents should have to ask for a board meeting. Somebody, whoever is over these hires, should have handled that, I feel like, a long time ago, and it shouldn't be on us as parents fighting for our kids. This is not what any of us want to do. This is not who we are, but I feel like with our parents that nobody is fighting for our kids. There's no fault from the north because the north handles their own problems. This never happened. You look at the school, it's successful. You look at the facilities, it's beautiful. You look at all their teams and their discipline. That is leadership. That is all we're asking for. Are we jealous? Yeah, maybe we're a little jealous, but we want what they got. Who is it that's in control of that? Is it the head coach? Is it the principal? Is it the athletic director? No, I don't know. But that's what we want. Whoever's at fault, whether it be the principal, the athletic director, the coaches, we feel that they should be held accountable. We're just asking for our kids to have a fair shake. My kid, I asked him if he wanted to move, that I would pay the money to send him. He does not want to move. He said he would rather not play sports and stay right here. My senior, I asked him the same thing when he was a sophomore. He said, Dad, it's not about winning, it's about being with my teammates. There's board members, there's folks here that their kids have already transferred. Why? Because of leadership. Yep. We all want to be led by a good, strong leader, whoever it may be, in whatever aspect it is. We have one opportunity to raise our kids, and we're going to go down with the fight. We are asking that you guys We're hoping to have a coach, a staff from outside that knows how to win, to teach our kids. Yes, you're going to fail, but you got to get back up. I'm going to disagree with the coach that spoke a while ago about the guys being good guys, but being a good guy don't always win. We want somebody on the football field that can lead, that can guide, that can represent our kids. And that's all I have to say. If there's any questions, thank you.
All right, now the motion, we go into executive session.
Come on that list. Michael Peter.
He is on the list. Yes, sir. It's your call.
Is it totally different than what?
Yes, sir, it is.
We did. Gentlemen, so.
Well, you guys know me. I've been in this town my whole life. I have played green my whole life. We have bought wrestling shoes. We have bought football cleats. We have done whatever it took to make these kids successful. These kids have been all the way to the Georgia Dome and played New Mexico and all kinds of crazy things.
Yeah.
They're athletes here on this end. They are exceptional, but they're not given the opportunities. My kids suffered this year personally. How many of you can raise your hand and say that you've been in the wrestling room in the last 6 months? I'll wait. That you saw it in the condition it was before. The mold, the mildew, the nastiness. The wrestling mat has been rotten for years. My son received 2 ankle injuries on that wrestling mat. 2. Do you know what the parents did? Go look at it now. Because nobody else would do anything. Nobody else would do anything. Go look at it now. It's an old nasty bus barn with new paint. Philip Carter laid the carpet in it to put the mat on and keep it dry. They painted the bathrooms, they changed the toilets, they done everything on their dime. The heat didn't work until yesterday. They found somebody to come fix it. It was 55 degrees in there yesterday. How many of you guys would hang out in 55-degree wrestling room? It's dirty, it's nasty, but the kids work this summer. They deserve better than what's going on. My kid, let me tell you something, my kid's not perfect, but he was left a liar this year. He was left a liar. And you think I'm upset? Oh, I'm very upset. We live in the north, and I moved my kid here. Both of my kids here. I love Coach Harker with all my heart. But there's some things he doesn't see. And I will never ever stop loving him, but I'm telling you there's things he doesn't see that the rest of us see. Yep. The people that are on that list that are for that Ms. Leonard was talking about, where are they? Until they're here, they're ghosts. They're just hearsay, they're fiction.
You got it.
We are here. We're not here. We could be at the Mexican restaurant. We could be doing basketball at the rec. I've got 35 kids gliding on the wrestling team this year. Do you realize after you change the wrestling coach, they don't have enough room down here? They don't have enough room in the wrestling building because the team rebounded in one season. Just like that. Yep. They don't have enough room. They're spread out everywhere. I got pictures I can show you right now. They're smiling. My kid didn't want to wrestle anymore. He smiled and went to 9. The kids want to do these things, but you found good leadership. You put them in place. Man, I took a video of Coach Eno coaching tonight. The kids are, man, they're intended. Coach Zucker made the comment, he said, man, this is good. This is good. That's all we're asking for. Man, I love these men. We moved our kids. We could be wearing little championship hats around. Thank you. You give the kids honor.
There you go. Thank
you. You give them honor. They have no honor. They have nothing. They have nothing. And it's okay because there's always the next season for somebody else. There's no next season for Caleb.
There's nothing. I've got a freshman and an 8-year-old. I said, Luke, do you want to move? He said, no, Dad, I'm going to finish my friends. I'm just going to wrestle. I'm not going to play football anymore. The football team will be no longer next year. I'm telling you right now.
Yes.
They're leaving
It'll be.
in droves. You think $1,000 is going to stop somebody?
No way.
That ain't nothing compared to having nobody else. Look at the seats. There's nobody in there. We got a 2-story Taj Mahal and nobody in the stands.
You got it.
I'd much rather have somebody that hires and fires and takes care of the business. We can all be good Christians. That. We can all put that on. I can do that any day. I can sit on the back seat. I'm a back seat Baptist. That's me. But if you don't do something, you ain't going to have nothing. And we can lie to ourselves all we want. We can lie that it's going to get better, but it's not.
No.
Man, I've coached these kids since they were 7 years old, and now they're seniors.
Yep.
7 years old. They went undefeated. They won championships.
Yes.
They took the Dalton Whit. They had to play the Whitfield County grad.
Yep.
They beat every team over there. Thank you for your time. God bless that.
Need a motion to go into executive session. Motion by Brenda, second by Heath, all in favor. We're in executive session.
I was going to say something.
I hope everything gets better. I totally do. I want the very best for Murray County. Of course, I have to be the number one cheerleader for North Murray, but I want great things for Murray County. So y'all know that. Yes.